now for the brother rest.
Thank you, Kelly. All right, guys, so I'm Trevor Owens. I'm the co-founder of Lean Startup Machine. I hang out with a lot of entrepreneurs, many of whom don't really understand what an MVP is. So with that, this is going to be very intense. This is 10 awesome MVPs from the Lean Startup Machine. So, definition of MVP. It's the product that will give you the maximum amount of learning with the least validated learning with the least effort. So it's not a barely functioning product. It's not Tom Brady, right? It's about getting through the build, measure, learn, feedback loop, and getting to pivot. So with that, there's 4 types of MVPs I'm going to cover. There's surveys, which I define as talking to customers or conversation with customers. There's mock-ups, which are visual of the product. Concierge, which is a manual delivery of the product, and then finally product. So starting off with surveys here, I have some cute names for all these. Starting off with better alternative, scene of the customer, and doppelganger. So if you think that your product is going to be a market disruptor, what you want to try and do is potentially test it against the current market leader. So this team here from Lean Startup Machine posted an ad for a Vespa on Craigslist. When people called them, they actually tried to opt them to buy an electric scooter instead of a Vespa. And guess what? No one wanted it, so devalued their idea. If you want to quickly iterate on a product, the best place you should go to talk to customers is the actual scene of where they'll be using your product. So this team was doing a shopping app. They went to a shopping mall. Pretty no-brainer here. Next, a great way to devalue an idea is actually finding someone who's already doing your exact idea with no traction. So this team went to a boating marina and they talked to customers, didn't really find a pain point, and they found someone who's doing their exact idea for 3 years with no traction and still working on it. So the next type here is mock-ups, and we're going to go over a decreasing discount and innovator. These are a visual of the product. So if you want to close a customer with only a mock-up, one way to do it is by having giving them a future discount that's pretty significant on new versions of the product. So this, and then after that, every additional customer you close, you actually decrease the discount. So this team, as you can see here, was able to get cash from the customer with just a paper mock-up. Next, if you're solving something that's a real pain point, generally there's going to be a few people that already have a solution to it. So this team found someone on Craigslist who had posted his renter profile to get attractive offers from landlords. So this team basically just emulated that exact thing, his exact technique in a product. Moving on to concierge, we have one use case, real-life simulation of meta. And this is a manual delivery of the product. So if you have a sort of complicated problem that you want to solve, one thing you can do to simplify is just build out one use case for it. So this team talked to a teacher the night before, and the next day they had a product where the only thing that would work is if you search the term geometry. And so they were able to actually build this very quickly, get customer very engaged, and then they actually moved on to convert them by getting them to pay. However, they wouldn't pay, so they actually got them to give them the principal's email who would be the final customer for the product, which is very clever. If your product involves multiple users interacting, one thing you can do is actually simulate it in real life. So at one of the Lean Startup Machines, the team got everyone there to pay $2 in order to come into a room and play a game where they'd be getting feedback from one another. However, the people could have just done that on their own, but they still paid for it. So that was some validation. Similar to before, this team was trying to come up with an MVP, and so they found one customer with a pain, and they solved it for that customer and then resold it. They found a customer with a very poor resume, got them stoked about a new redraft, and they sold that template successfully to other customers. Finally, product. So menu and conversation starter. So if you have a product that could have a lot of potential different features, one thing you can do is create a menu where you track what people actually click on. So this team had converted users from Twitter and Foursquare, and then they tracked what items in the menu people who ended up buying the product actually clicked on. So, and then next, if you want to maximize your learning and get really visionary feedback from customers, you want to get them amped about your idea. So this team used a clever gimmick. They went to bars and handed out these cards, and they got some really interesting conversations with customers. They had a very simple product that the users were able to follow up and experiment with. And however, instead of getting them to give feedback on this product, they got feedback on what the product could be and giving customers more of a visionary role. So with that, that's all I have. Thank you so much. I'm Trevor Owens, co-founder of Lean Startup Machine. I'd love to talk to any of you after this